Okay, we're going to take another look at a Dinky Toy airplane. It's a Meccano company, British Meccano company, made small die-cast toys from 33 up until about 1980s. So we're going to take a look at a 1952 airplane, which they made, which is a little more modern than the other ones we looked at. And here's a magazine from 1952, which sort of sets the tone, I guess, of the times. Here's an interesting ad for a car of the time. And it's suitable for men about town and in the country also. It has startling acceleration, though I believe the startling acceleration it's 0 to 60 in 30 seconds, which I guess was startling for the time. Top speed of 70 miles an hour, but of course the 70 octane sort of limited things. So let's take another look and see what was current in 52. Doesn't seem that long ago to me, but there you go. There's a nice ad for potassium, as though potassium needed promotion. And here's a dandy little ad. Darling, give me a Churchman's #1. It's the 15-minute cigarette. I guess it's going to be a long phone call. So, what we see more is good cars at British Leather. Oh yes, and here we go. Here's the way ahead. This is a Ford, you can tell, and that's the car of the time. What do we got? It's a Ford Zephyr. It's the owners apparently refer to the accelerator as the exhilarator, and we've had a better 0 to 60 time. And it, I can see there, I don't know whether you guys can read it, but the price was £532 plus the purchase tax of £297. So anyway, that's one of the cars that was available. I remember driving these things. It's it seems starting through an intersection, you had time to roll a cigarette before you got to the other side. So anyway, that's the sort of thing that was available in 1952. We see, what else do we see? Yeah, there's black and white, but there's a nice little ad for V-bombers online, 4 minutes flat. That was certainly the sign of the times. Anyway, look at the old cars, and then you flip to the back page, and what do you know? There's a really neat ad for a Gloster Javelin. It seems just like a world away from those funny little cars. And yeah, so it was a oh yeah, what was the other thing? Oh yes, here we go. I was sort of amused by this comment down here, where it mentions that another exciting example of the leadership that Jettery, which Hawker Siddeley Group has won, leadership in jettery. So there you go, in jettery. I guess it shows how novel the idea of jets was at the time. So it's a twin jet, all-weather fighter. By all-weather, it's got radar and all sorts of things. Of course, no transistors, so it's all tubes, vacuum tubes, packed in the plane. And what else do we have? Oh yeah, here we have a bubblegum card of the time. Let's see what we can see here. There's your Gloster English jet fighter. And on the back of the card, it says, I'll actually read it out for you, you can read it yourself, I guess. And it says, "This is the very best jet that the British have. It is so new that almost all details as to its performance are still secret. And the only real facts available are that it is heavily armed, carries radar, and could go for a long distance without refueling. Its very high speed will make this Delta Wing fighter one of the most dangerous in the world." Well, that's certainly everything a young lad would like to know about such a thing. And there's one I had as a kid, actually. I saw the wall. Oh yeah, so let's take a look at the toy. Here we go. Here it is here. The actual toy itself. I had one as a kid. I believe I sawed the wheels off, because once the wheels were off, it just looked so much easier to fly through the air. The wheels always seemed a bit clunky. But there it is. And what we have with this toy, it was really quite common. Its catalog number is 735. I think we see that on the base. Did that focus on us? Oh yeah, it did. But it's upside down. 735. And there's a slightly larger scale than the other toys that were actually before it, you know, like the Spitfire, Hurricane, and sort of the pre-war toys. So it's a little bit bigger. And this toy came out from 1958 or 1956, and it ran right through to 1965. And this is sort of almost thought it was a Dinky Toy plane, because it's very common. You see a lot of them around. And it came out with Hawker Hunter and the Supermarine Swift. So there's no real variance. Just a little thing here. There's no real variance. You see some changes, like here's one with no rondels. But I don't think that's a variant. That's just a manufacturing error. And you might say on some of these that there's maybe a difference in quality. In other words, there's a nice clear thing. Probably when the die was new, and then when the die got a little older, it's serviced for a long time, you get sort of more muddy lettering. It's just not quite so sharp and clear as this guy. If we can, no, is that clear? No. Anyway, it's funny it doesn't focus. Sometimes it does. Well, I think you have to give up on that one. So anyway, those are the ones. They had boxes like this. Now that's focused. Gloster Javelin. They look the same, but they aren't, because there's Dinky Toys, and then there's the later model, I think it is, where it says Made in England by Meccano. And slightly different boxes. One is a brighter color, got white around here. The other one doesn't. So now I said there were no variants, but then what the heck is this? And this. Whoops. And still even more, we have this one here. So what these toys are, they're Gloster Javelins for sure, made from the Gloster Javelin mold, but they're actually made in India. Dinky sold its dies to India, and so you get something like this, where it says Gloster Javelin, 75, everything's the same, made in India, and they scratch out the Dinky. You can see the price here in rupees, I think. And then here's another one, which again says Dinky Toys, made in India, Gloster Javelin. I sort of like this one actually. It's got a nice paint job. That's sort of what they should have done, Dinky. And then the last one I have, I think there are more, but this is another one. Dinky's just gone completely. This says Toys, Gloster Javelin. And they came in boxes like this. There's a Dinky Toy, Gloster Javelin, Delta Wing Fighter. Oops, what does it say here? A Tamco, Calcutta. Marbles and miniature. Yeah, I think Dinky, they came initially as Dinky Toys in India, but then Dinky was a bit embarrassed by the quality coming out of India, and they made them change their name. So, and oh yeah, and here's one last thing. Here's the Dinky Toys catalog of the time. Here are some of the planes. There's the Gloster Javelin right there. And the other ones, I'll cover these other ones a little bit later. And then here we have a Dinky Toys price list from Canada. And way down here you see the price there. I think it's 49 cents. You can buy that for 49 cents at the time. Dinky Toys, Meccano. So anyway, I guess that's it. The little background on this Gloster Javelin. There's a two-seater. There's a navigator and a pilot. And as I say, the scale is slightly larger, 1 to 180 or something, compared to the regular Dinky scale of the old B-17 and the Spitfire, the World War II stuff. So there we go. I'd like to know actually if anybody has other variants from India, the Dinky Toys. We're aware of the three here: the silver, the white, and the strange sort of metallic pattern. But yeah. And this one, what does that one say again? Oh, it's just toys. No Dinky. And the ones from Dinky do tend to be a little cruder. Okay, that's it. As I say, if anybody has any other Dinky Toys or variants on the plane itself, I would like to know. Anyway, thanks a lot.